Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to do a board game spotlight review for Joraku by Tasty Minstrel Games. Let's get this one to the table. So Joraku is a small box game for 3 or 4 players, and it's an interesting game that combines trick-taking with area majority mechanisms. And so let me dump things out of the box here and show you what comes in the box and show you setup really quickly. So it's a modular board in the sense that it's got pieces, but not modular in that the order is going to be different. You're always going to start with Kyoto on the left and then region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the score on the right. So it's only modular in a very general sense. The rules of the game are on a single sheet of paper. It is a large sheet of paper, but they have quite a few examples, and there are also explanations of the variants. I won't talk about the variants in here, but there are some cards that give you variations to the game. So once you've played the base game a few times and you want to try something new, you can do that. So there's a few different kinds of cards in the game. There's these cards with a red back, and then the majority of the cards have the black backing. There is a single one with purple, and then there are these 4 cards, red, yellow, blue, and green, for the players to each have a reference card if you play with 4. And then there are these yellow backed cards. So let me explain what each set of cards does. So these yellow backed cards are just the variants, like I said. So once you've enjoyed learning the game and you've gotten used to the base game, you can add these variants, and they suggest putting 2 into the game at a time, and they all just twist the rules a bit. So that is something you can try if you want a little more variety. These cards with the red back all have the numbers of the regions with some really cool art. And the regions are what's on the board. And you'll notice Kyoto doesn't have a region number, but all the others do have a number. And at the beginning of the game, you're going to randomly shuffle these up and pass them out to 1 card to each player. And then each player is going to take their daimyo tokens and put them on the section of the number that they're given. So if they get the 5 card, they're going to put their daimyo token, and I'll show you the tokens in a second, onto region 5. If they get the 2 card, they're going to take their daimyo token and put it on region 2. And so that's how you set up the game. Once you've set up the game with these cards, the players keep the one that they drew, but it only really comes back into play at the end of the game and in tiebreakers. So it's not something that has a big impact other than helping you set it up. So that's the red-backed cards. The purple card is the one that determines first player and shows who the first player is, and it also shows you how you score the points after every trick that you play. And so this is the Kachidoki card, and there's only 1 of them. Now, once you place the daimyo out onto the board, whoever has the daimyo in the highest numbered region becomes the first player for the first round. And then after that, whoever wins the trick will become the player for the next hand. Now, the black-backed cards are the main trick-taking cards, and they come in yellow, red, and blue colors. Every suit has cards 1 through 6, plus a ninja card. And I'll explain how those different cards work as I explain the trick-taking in this game, because it is a bit unique. Now let me show you the different tokens that come in the game. All right, so I've laid out the tokens here for a 3-player game to just walk you through the basics of it. This board game spotlight video might be a little bit longer because this game's a bit more complex, but it's a small box game, so I still think it fits in, and I'm not going to do the 3x3x3, 3 things I like, didn't like, and comparisons. In fact, I would have a hard time coming up with other games similar to this one because of its unique gameplay. So I'm just going to do how do you play it, and then quick thoughts on my review. So here are the blue players' tokens. They've got a daimyo token plus 11 samurai. The 11th one is just going to go here to the board. Red has the same, yellow has the same, so we're just going to put those tokens on the board. And this is the scoring chart over here. And then, like we said, we're going to deal these out randomly. So we're going to shuffle up these red-backed cards, and we'll see who gets which one. So the blue player randomly gets 3, the red player randomly gets 5, and the yellow player randomly gets 2. So now we'll put this over here to the side for yellow, and we'll put this over here to the side for 3, and then we'll just take the 5th one. Well, we can maybe keep it right on the edge of the board here. So that's blue, red, and so at this point the blue got 3, so they're going to put their daimyo on region 3. The red got 5, so they're going to put their daimyo on 5, and the yellow got 2, so they're going to put their daimyo on region 2. So that's how you get the game set up and know where to put the daimyos. And because red got the highest one, they are going to be first player. So they get the Kachidoki card to show they're the first player. All right, now on these player aid cards, it's nice. It gives you a round overview, and it shows you first you're going to recruit. So you're going to deal 5 or 6 skirmish cards, 5 in a 4-player game and 6 in a 3-player game to each player. After you see your cards, you're going to pass 2 cards to the left, and so it's kind of Sushi Go style or Seven Wonders style where you're passing cards, but you're not going to keep passing over and over. You're just going to do that one time. Pass 2 to the left. So that's the recruit phase. And then you have your hand set for the round. So in this 3-player game, each player would have 6 cards in their hand, pass 2, and then they would still end up with 6 cards in their hand before we start round 1. And then we go to the skirmish phase, which is really where we're playing the trick-taking part of the game. Each player is going to play 1 card, and if you can follow suit, you must. But if you can't follow suit, you still can win. So that's a unique aspect of this game. You're going to check who wins the skirmish, and it's whoever has the largest card. And there's a little exception with the ninja cards. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then whoever wins that trick is going to take the Kachidoki card, and they'll become the first player for the next trick, and they will also gain points based on the list down here below. So it shows you after the skirmish is over, after the trick has been won, whoever won the trick, we're going to give them we're going to look at the area where their daimyo's at. So if the yellow player won the trick, we're going to look in region 2. And we're going to see who has first place in region 2, who has second place in region 2, and who has third place. First place is going to earn 3 points, second 2 points, and third 1 point. So after every trick, you're going to be scoring points over here based on who won the trick and where their daimyo is, and who has area majority control in the area of that daimyo. So you might win the trick, but not win the points in that region because someone may have outmaneuvered you and has more points of soldiers in that region. So, but more likely you would win it pretty often because the daimyo is worth 2 and the samurai tokens, these little squares, are only worth 1. So that is how the Kachidoki card works, and that's the skirmish round. We'll play out a couple examples just to help you see it. And then we go to the prestige round. So after we've played all 6 tricks, then we go to the prestige round where we're going to rank in every area who has the majority. And so we'll start at region 6, and you can see down at the bottom there's scoring on these region tiles, and there's Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, and Roman numeral 3. After the first 6 hands, we're going to be looking at the Roman numeral 1 row. And so you can see down here in the Kyoto region in Roman numeral 1, after the first 6 hands, round 1, you get 0 points. So you don't really want to have majority in that one because you don't earn anything. Here you only get 2 points for first place, nothing for second, nothing for third. But when you work your way down on this end, you can see in that first round you get 7 for first place, 4 for second, and 2 for third. But in the second round, you're not going to get any, and in the third round, you're not going to get any. So the points you earn shift from round to round. So after every 6 hands, if you're playing a 3-player game, you're going to go from round 1 to round 2 to round 3, and where you want to get area majority changes. And it's the march towards Kyoto. That's kind of what the theme is behind this game. And honestly, we don't really think too much about the theme, but it does kind of make sense that it's this march towards Kyoto. It's kind of a historical reference. And so you're trying to gain area majority, moving right to left across the board, round by round. All right, so now let's walk through this skirmish battle process and help you see how the trick taking works. So we start with the red player, and let's say the red player plays a blue 3. Now, as soon as you play the card, you get to choose what to do with that card. And this skirmish card tells you what your options are. If you have a card 1 through 6, you can choose to place 0 to 3 samurai tokens on the board in the area that matches the number on your card, so in region 3. Or you can choose to use AP or action points worth that number, so you could get 3 action points. And the action points can be spent as is listed down here. You can get, if you use 2 action points, you can move your daimyo from one region to an adjacent region. For 1 action point, you can move one of your samurai cubes from one region to an adjacent region. And for 1 action point, you can remove an enemy token or an enemy samurai cube from the region that has your daimyo. Now right now all we have is daimyo, so the only logical thing for the red player to do would be to put tokens out anywhere from 0 to 3, and they have to be on region 3. So let's say they just decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put all 3 on region 3. And so at this point they actually have area control of region 3 because they've got 3 single cubes compared to the 1 daimyo. The daimyo is worth 2, these are worth 1 apiece. All right, but that's just the start of the trick. We haven't even finished the trick first. It's just the first play. And let's say now the yellow player plays a blue 4. They can follow suit, and they also have a larger number, which means now they are winning the trick. But before we even resolve the trick again, they have the same options. They can put their samurai tokens onto region 4, or they can move tokens. So all they can move at this point is a samurai, and they could say, you know what, for 4 action points, I'm going to move it 2, 2. Every adjacent space is 2 action points. Samurai costs 2 to move. So they're going to actually move it up because they realize down here that's not worth that many points at this point in the game in the first round. So they're going to move their samurai up to try to help them earn more points by the end of the first round. So they used their points to move rather than place samurai. And let's say that the next player didn't have a blue card in their hand. Because of the way the card and the drafting went, they ended up having no blue cards, so they couldn't follow suit, so they play a red 6. Now, they didn't follow suit because they couldn't, but they still have the highest number, so they won that trick. So that's a unique aspect of this game. You don't have to follow suit to win, you just have to play the highest card. But you do have to follow suit if you can, all right? So they played a 6, that means they won this trick. But before they actually resolve the win, they get to decide, how am I going to use this? Am I going to use 6 action points? Well, they don't really want to move this 3 spaces. I mean, they could go 2, 4, 6 and move it all the way down here to the end, but they'll go ahead and just get 3 tokens out because they can put them in the 6th region. So they're going to put 3 tokens in region 6, knowing that region 6 is going to score the highest after the first round. And so that is the first trick, and the blue player won. So now the blue player is going to get the Kachidoki card showing that they won. And to score the prestige points here, the respect points here, they're going to look at, okay, they won, so we're going to look, where is the blue daimyo? And the blue daimyo is in region 3. It's worth 2, and red has 3 tokens there. So in that region where the blue daimyo is, red won. So red's going to get 3 victory points. All right. So red moves up 3. Blue actually gets 2nd place in that region, and so they're going to get 2 points. And so they move up 2 on the track. And so in every trick, you're going to be playing a card to take actions or to play samurai, and then you're going to be resolving the trick to see who earns victory points in that trick. Clear off the cards for that trick and play another trick, and now the blue player is going to win. So let me show you one other hand just so you can see another unique thing about this game. So let's say the blue player leads with a 1. Now they may think, I don't really want to put a bunch of soldiers down here in region 1 because we're going to be scoring mostly up at this end. So rather than putting a bunch down here, let's just put 1. So again, you don't have to put 3, you can put 0 to 3. Let's say they're just going to put 1 on region 1. They could have put 2, they could have put 3. They're just going to put 1 there because if no one else puts down there, they will get 2 points for first place. But rather than using a bunch of soldiers down here where it's not worth much right now in this first round, let us stick 1 out there for later use. And potentially, they might end up getting 2 points there, which isn't nothing. All right, then let's say the next player goes, and let's say that player plays the 4. All right, so the yellow player played the 4, and they didn't put any soldiers out last time, so this time they're going to go ahead and put all 3 onto region 4, the number of their card. All right, and then the next player plays a ninja. All right, now ninja doesn't have a number on it. And if there are no 6s played in the hand, the ninja loses. The ninja only wins if someone played a 6. But since no one played a 6, the ninja loses. And the ninja only has 1 choice. Because there's no number here, they don't get action points to spend because there's no number. But they can place 0 to 3 tokens, and they can place them anywhere. So that's the advantage of the ninja. Even though they lost the trick, they can choose how they're going to put their workers out. So they can put 3 workers out anywhere, including Kyoto. And that's the only way you can put workers directly onto Kyoto or soldiers directly onto Kyoto, because Kyoto also doesn't have a number. So they could say, you know what, I know it's not worth anything now, but I'm going to put 1 there just to have it in the future. Probably not a wise move, but just to showing you that's an option. And they're going to put 2 down here with their daimyo just to make sure that they've got area majority there where their daimyo's at in the future. All right, so the trick is over. They lost the trick. Actually, the yellow player won the trick, but they got to put some soldiers out. Since yellow won, yellow is going to get the Kachidoki card, and we're going to look at the yellow region. They're the only one in that region, so they got first place, and they're going to get 3 points. And so that is how you play the tricks, both to move your soldiers, your samurai, and your daimyo, and to place your soldiers, your samurai, and your daimyo, and how to determine who won the trick and score the points for that. All right, so let me fast forward. I'll put some tokens out here on the board and show you end-game scoring. So I moved the tokens around and set up what it might look like at the end of round 1. So not actually the end of the game, but the end of the round 1. And I didn't move these to play out, so they would be higher than this on the scoring track. But at least you can get a sense of how do we score. After all 6 of those tricks have been played at the end of round 1, how do we score? So we're only looking at the first row here. And in this region, whoever has majority is going to get 7 points. And blue has 2 for their daimyo, and then 3, 4, 5. Yellow has 1, 2, 3. Red has 2. So blue gets first place, so they're going to get 7. So they go from 2 to 9 points. Yellow has second place. They're going to get 4. So they go from 3 to 7. And red has last place. They're going to get 2 points. So they go from 3 to 5. Then we move on to the next region. In this region, red has 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue only has 3. Yellow has 2. So red is going to get the majority. 6 points for red. So they go from 5 to 11. And then we go, second place is blue. They're going to get 3 points, so they go from 9 to 12. And then yellow got third place. They're going to get 2 points, so they go to 9. Then we go to this region. First place is 5 points. Yellow has 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're going to move up 5 points from 9 to 14. Red has next, second place with 2 points, so they get 3. So they're going to go from 11 to 14. And then blue has last place. They're going to get 2 more. So they go from 12 to 14. So this is where the scoring gets a little trickier, having to stack the cubes. We go to this region. And then blue and yellow tied. And so they both are tied for first. Whenever that happens, you go to second place and earn them both that number of points. So no one gets the 4 points. Both blue and yellow would get 2. So they're going to go from 14 to 16 for blue and yellow. Red is going to get 0 points because third earns none for first round. And then down here, the red gets first place, so they're going to go from 14 to 16, and we're stacked up again. Blue gets second place, so they're going to get 2, so they go to 18. And so there would be how we would score at the end of the round. So then we would deal out 6 more cards to each player, pass 2 to the left, play out the 6 tricks, moving the tokens around, scoring for every trick using the Kachidoki card for whoever won the trick, and then also scoring at the end of the round, but using the second row on this. Then we would repeat that for the third one, and at the end you can see down here in this end, on the third round, the Kyoto section is worth 15, 10, and 5, a lot of points, and this is 10, 7, and 4. Down here, these are all worth 0 in the last rounds. You're trying to move your workers, your samurai and daimyo tokens down to the left as the game goes on. So that is how you play Joraku. Let me give you a couple thoughts, review thoughts on this game from my perspective. I only played it a few times, but I played it at both 3 and 4 player. You can only play it at 3 and 4 player, so to me that's a little bit of a downside. I play most of my games 2 player, and I would love to play this more, but it's mostly my wife and I, and you can't play it 2 player. So yeah, that's a little bit of a disadvantage for me. The other disadvantage is I really don't like this scoring chart. And I've seen on the European version, instead of having these little modular pieces, it's got more of a traditional board, and around the edge it's got kind of a Ticket to Ride style scoring where the cubes don't have to be stacked on top of each other. And this scoring chart also snakes, and that snaking action, we almost always get messed up if we're not really being careful on scoring those points. So I don't like the scoring system. How you score the points is fine, but how you track it is kind of annoying. So those are the things I don't like, that you can't play it at 2 players or solo, and that the track for scoring is a mess, in my opinion. But the things that I do like, I really like the way the trick taking is different. There's just a few things. The ninja can only win a hand if someone played a 6. So just to make sure that's clear, let's say that someone led with a 4, red, and then someone plays a blue 6. They didn't have red, and so they couldn't follow suit, but they'll still win that. But as soon as someone plays a 6, someone else can play their ninja. And let's say the third player had the red ninja, so they followed suit, which they didn't even have to, but as long as they could follow suit, they had to. So they had to play the red one if they could. And the ninja beats the 6. So the only time the ninja wins is if someone did play a 6. So in that case, the ninja wins. So just to make sure you're clear about that example. So that's unique, that this one card has a very unique method. It loses every trick unless someone plays a 6. And then also that while you do have to follow suit, you don't have to have followed suit to win. If you couldn't follow suit, you could still win. So some unique things about the trick taking there. Also the area majority, that the where you want majority is constantly fluctuating. Every round, where you want the majority is shifting towards Kyoto. And so I like that. There's a couple of unique twists, and I've never seen trick taking with area majority combined, and they're both done in a unique way. On top of that, we haven't even gotten to the point where we're ready to use these variants, but like I said, there's these 6 variants that you can twist the game up even more by bending and breaking the rules with those variant cards if you would choose to. So even after several plays, the depth of the strategy and the different types of strategy you can take are still sort of unraveling and unfolding for us. I initially thought that whoever had the last play would have a distinct advantage because they could see where everyone was and they could manipulate the board. But depending on how you've had to follow suit, which cards you have in your hand at the end, the ninja card, if that's all you have left and you don't have any cubes to put on the board, the ninja doesn't allow you to move the cube. So if that's all you have because of the way the suits were played, you might not have a good play as the last player. And if other players have manipulated it just the right way, you may have tokens off the board. Maybe you saved the 6 for the last play and you think, hey, I'm going to be able to move things around 6, but the player right before you took 3 of your cubes off the board. And so now you have to decide, oh, well, I can move things around for 6 action points, or I can put these 3 back on the board, but they have to go in region 6 with that 6. So I don't think that whoever goes last on the last hand really has as much of an advantage as I thought they would. So it's something that I want to explore more. So this game, Joraku, I think has a lot of depth in a small box. It has some really unique mechanisms, and even though some of the mechanisms are very traditional, they're used in a unique way, and it's combined in a unique way. So I really like Joraku, and I would love to hear your feedback. So if you've played this, let me know what you think about the game. And if you haven't, let me know what questions you have. If you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful, it'd be terrific if you give that thumbs up down below, and I would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.